Hi, welcome back to Mom and Just Moment Talk Show. So this is our last episode in the singles series. I urge you all viewers, please sit back, sit tight. This is a very interesting topic, which we refer to as dealing with a heartbreak. This is very prevailing amongst our societies, and is the reason for so many suicidal thoughts and depression among the youth and teenagers alike. I urge you all, please subscribe to this channel, share with your friends, and make sure they are blessed by this channel. It will especially help our singles. It will save them a lot of if they're going through whatever situation they find themselves, probably heartbreak. This episode is for you, and please be inspired, be encouraged, and don't forget to subscribe. We have an interesting and very bubbly young lady here by name Ife, so she's here to do justice. Woohoo! Yeah, welcome to Mom and Jess. Ife, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Hi viewers, hi guys. Please, before I introduce myself, click on the link and
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Ife Dayo Alero. Most people call me Ife Alero. Yeah. So I'm here on Mom and Just channel to talk about heartbreak, how to deal with heartbreak, and please sit back and enjoy as I share my little experience. And don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you.
Share, and please share your comments in the comments section.
If you have questions as well, you can drop. We'll refer to Ife to do justice to it. So let's hit the show.
Right.
Yeah, we're here to talk about heartbreak. It's a very sensitive topic, but I believe that you're going to do justice to this topic. What is a heartbreak, please?
Okay.
What is it all about?
Heartbreak is it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot to deal
with your own personal,
in my own experience, in my own personal
perspective.
Now, I would say like an heartbreak is like an overwhelming feeling. It's an overwhelming feeling of distress, pain, discomfort. Just pain, just pain, like shattering your heart. Something that your heart cannot hold. At times you hold your heart and it feels like, this thing is about to crack.
It's tearing.
It feels like your world is coming apart. It feels like everything that you've arranged, it's just synonymous to a glass. And then a glass cup, and everything comes shattering down to the finest piece. Like everything comes crumbling. That's how I would describe a heartbreak. It's just something you really cannot hold together.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's narrow it down now to relationship, because I believe that so many things can cause a heartbreak. It could be in a marriage. It could be between mother-child, father-child relationship. Anything could actually cause a heartbreak. Even parting with a dog for a white person can cause a heartbreak. So, okay, well, let's not go into that. We're actually narrowing it down to singles, like when a couple are in a relationship and then at some point in time they have to call it a quits. So that is where we're just let's just be more specific. Let's narrow it down. Okay, what are the likely causes of a heartbreak in a relationship?
In the relationship, there are so many things that could cause heartbreak, ranging from dishonesty, mistrust, lack of communication, unexpressed desires, expecting too much. So many things. Anything could cause it. Anything. Even in a mother and father relationship, a mother and daughter relationship, anything could really cause heartbreak. Not paying attention.
Absolutely.
Not paying attention to the needs of your partner could cause a heartbreak. Anything could be anything. It could, but I think for most people, it's usually mistrust. It's like lack of trust in the relationship, or jumping into conclusion for people. It could cause,
making assumptions.
Yeah, making assumptions for people. You can just conclude in your mind that this is what my partner thinks, or this is what my partner has done, even when you have not fully communicated.
Wow.
You've not discussed the actions with the person. You already put it in your mind that he didn't pick my calls at 12 o'clock. He was supposed to be home at 4:30. Then he's home at 5:30. Then what happened in the space of 1 hour? And then you're thinking, it could be anything. It could have something laid back at work. It could be his tire on the road. But then in your own mind, you already put it in the space of 1 hour, you must have been somewhere, you must be drinking, or you must be with another girl, or you must texting another girl, or something. It could be the little things. It could be you sneaking into your partner's phone, taking your partner's phone to the bathroom to read his messages. even when there is nothing, creating when you've
something
created
when there is actually nothing.
yeah, you've created a space for distrust. You've created a space for mistrust. Then you're looking for something even when it is not there.
Wow.
And then those are things that could cause heartbreak, because eventually when you find something there, you break your own heart yourself, even when the partner is not telling you anything. You look for it,
Wow.
you find something, then you break your own heart. And then
You
start-
got it now. You got it.
People on this table,
You're breaking tables here. You're breaking tables here, including myself.
a lot of people on this table.
Hey,
If you're on that table, please
Hey,
do
God
yourself a
bless your
favor.
nose.
Just come down from that table. Don't go searching your partner's phone. Don't allow yourself. Allow it to flow. Even if there is anything, eventually it will come to you. You will find out.
But I think some people do this in the early stage when they are still trying to build that trust. I remember even when we got married in the beginning, I usually, let me just try and know what this guy is up to. But it gets to a point where you have that understanding, like, whatever is waiting. I think it takes time. I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing. Some people stand on the fact that it is good. Others believe that no, it's wrong.
Where it will be wrong is if, let's say for instance, you find something on his phone, or you find something you're not supposed to see. It could even be a business transaction,
and then you start reading meanings,
and then you call him and then you tell him, oh, this is what I found on your phone. It depends on your manner of approach again. If you give it to him hot, and the first thing is asking you, what were you doing with my phone? Why are you touching my phone? Then it turns out to something that he didn't even do, and then he explains to you that, okay, this is the situation of things, and then you start blaming yourself. Why did I go and check his phone? Why did I do this? Why would I not trust him enough to believe whatever he says? Those are the things that would cause you to start. And then when you start doing that, when you start trading on that pattern, and you make it a lifestyle, you're setting yourself up for destruction. You're setting your relationship up for heartbreak, for everything to just melt down. Because eventually, if you find what you're looking for, or even if you don't find what you're looking for, it still doesn't. It still leads to that destruction.
Yeah, because thank you so much. Okay, let's look at other areas now. We're looking at the area of the effect that a heartbreak will have on a victim. I understand that ladies actually they feel this more, right? So, but we're going to look at it in both ways, because guys also experience heartbreaks. So, what are the likely effects it will have? If you share your personal experience, it will be very interesting for the viewers to learn from. So we don't mind.
Well, you said the effects of heartbreak.
Yeah, the effects.
There's so many effects of heartbreak, particularly on. I wouldn't know so much about men, but I know men also experience heartbreak, and I think for men they take to drinking or take to self-isolation and all of that, not talking to anybody. But for me, for my own personal experience, the effect of heartbreak on me as just give God the glory. I really give God the glory, because it was tough.
Wow.
It was tough, because coming from my own space, coming from my own experience, and how it affected me, how it affected my relationship with other people. It really, it really took a long toll on me, because this is a now I'm talking from my own experience. I'm talking from my past relationship. This is somebody I've been with for 4 years. He's Muslim, and I'm Christian, I'm Catholic. And for the life of me, my parents are very liberal. They don't have issues with me being with a Muslim guy. But him, on the other hand, did not tell me, he was not open to me. He didn't tell me so much about, okay, this is my parents' standing on our relationship. So we had gone deep. I had planned my life around this person. I had factored my life. When you plan your life around one person, you've even though we were not married, but we were living, we were talking, we were staying. We had everything. In fact, the only thing that was just for me was to finalize this thing by putting a ring on my finger and going to the court or wherever to sign the papers. We were everything and more. And at 4 years of the relationship, I told this guy, I'm like, where are we going? Where are we headed? And then after going back and forth, it was like, okay, fair, I will be honest with you. The truth of the matter is my mom is not okay with,
A Christian.
with me being with a Christian. And for the first time in 4 years, I literally slapped this guy, started throwing him punches. I just couldn't believe what, you were telling me. Like, 4 years, I've asked you this not once, I've asked you this question not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not even 5 times. We've talked about this,
Several.
and I've told you my own parents don't have an issue with me being with a Muslim, but you, on the other hand, you kept, patting me, petting me, and telling me, my parents are okay, it's fine. And then, now that I'm asking you seriously, where are we going in 4 years, and you're telling me your mom, it was difficult to swallow. It was painful. It was, in fact, I could not quantify the pain. It was too much for me to handle. We fought. I just couldn't believe it. At a point, we fought that day, and this was 2 days before my birthday.
Oh.
So it was the most miserable birthday I ever had. And after we had the fight, I just still couldn't believe that was happening to me. So after the fight, I still made peace with this guy and told him, you know what, it doesn't matter. Your mom is just one person. Let's, pass this thing.
You couldn't.
I just couldn't
deny.
Yeah, I couldn't, imagine my life without him. I couldn't tell myself to start all over again. And I told myself, where do I want to start from? I don't even talk to so many people. I don't even, when people ask me out, I don't even, give them a audience. I don't even give them the chance to get, because I've planned everything around this person. And then you're telling me it's not going to work. So even after the fight, I still went back to this person. We can't do this. We can't. There must be something. There must be a way around it. There must be something to do. In fact, I went as far as, talking, sending text messages, calling. I just couldn't bring myself to, knowing that this is over. So after that, I moved, because at the point we were staying together. So after that, I moved out of his house. I went to get my own space. And we're talking about the effects now, how that incident affected me. So at that point when I moved out to my own space, I started getting people, oh, how are you talking to me? There was a guy, he was on my case, he was always calling me, checking up on me. And for the life of it, I just don't want to see anybody. I just did not want to see anybody, let alone talk to another guy. So I didn't even entertain anybody. I was mostly alone, and thank God for music. Music was another thing that I turned into. I started playing a lot of music. I started playing a lot of gospel songs. I started playing a lot of Alicia Keys. I played so many different music. At the point I'll play them, hip hop, and just to get me out of that zone.
Okay, let's go into something else now. Sorry, I want you to share with us how you were able to heal, because I believe this is a lot of talking we're doing. Let's know how you were able to heal from this.
Okay. So, you see, I would not say it was fast. It was not a fast.
Yeah, because some people expect you to heal like
no. Well, it is relative.
Okay.
For some people,
it's easy.
I think for me now, the me now compared to me 4 years of my life back then, it was different. If I would experience a heartbreak now, I think I would move on easily.
Wow, I get you.
But for then, the
first
experience, it was terrible. I could not even eat.
Are you serious?
Yes, I could not even eat. I was, when it's a severe sadness, it's a severe feeling of sadness. Like, it overwhelms you. It takes over everything. You don't even have appetite. That's how terrible it could be. Like, you would literally be sleeping and crying. You can cry yourself to sleep. So many nights I cried myself to sleep.
Wow.
Because of this feeling, because it just breaks you.
Just deep inside.
So how was I able to overcome? I'll say time.
Time is all ones.
Time. It took me time. It took me roughly about a year. It took me time. From February, I think I didn't start talking to anybody until about any other guy until about maybe October, November. It just took time. So, and then another thing that I would say helped me during that phase was God. You know, at a point where you're already heartbroken, somebody has broken your heart. It is very, very difficult, and I'm very serious here. It is very difficult for you to just move on. Except you never really liked that person, or you never really loved that person. It is very difficult for you to just move on. So for me, I would say God, because it got to a point where I literally had to start praying, you know, about this heartbreak. And I just said, God, please. It was one of my prayer points, and I'm very serious. If you're experiencing heartbreak, or if you know somebody who is experiencing heartbreak, talk to God about it. I would not even remove the God factor, because it got to a point I had to beg God, please help me to forget about this person. Help me to forget about, and I made it a prayer point every day to please help me to forget about this person. And I'm very serious there, ladies, guys, anybody. It's very difficult, especially when you're experiencing that break, not to stalk the person. It's one of the things we do.
Stalking.
We stalk the person, and then we go for it. Like, yeah, it's a phase. It's actually one of the process. It's one of the phases that you pass through when you're overcoming heartbreak, because you would want to see, has this person moved on before me? Did he move on before you? Who is he talking to? What's his life like? What is he doing at this point? We do all of that. So at that point, I would go on Instagram, I would check his page. You know, I blocked him at some point, I unblocked him again at some point. You know, I was checking his page, who is he talking to, why is he posting this? And I'm like, oh, I started stalking. Then I would look through the list of his new friends, I would see and check.
Oh my goodness.
You get me? I would check, and I'm like, at a point I was like, I'm wasting so much energy on this guy, or focusing on this guy, why I should be pursuing my master's degree. I'm doing something else. So it took me telling myself that, you know, it's okay. It's okay. And talking to God.
Talking to God about it.
Help me forget about this.
I love that fact that you took it to God.
You have to take it to God, because if you are trying to do it
by yourself,
it can be tough.
It's not possible.
Talk to God. Please help me forget about these things. And another thing you should do considerably is try to stay away from things that you used to do together.
Okay.
So if you, for instance, we used to watch movies together, I stopped watching movies.
Those habits.
I stopped those things.
Wow.
I stopped listening to the music he made me start liking. I stopped listening to those music.
Because when you hear them, you
remember. Another thing I did was, before, you know, like I said, we broke up close to my birthday. So I already had previous birthday gifts from him. He bought me wristwatch.
So you had to throw them away?
I didn't throw them away.
Wow.
I still have them. I still have the t-shirt. I still have the wristwatch
them
till this minute. I still have them till this minute.
Oh.
But I just look at them and smile, and you know, instead of being hot, instead of remembering him, instead of remembering him, I'll be like, oh, polish you wherever you are. Polish me too. I just look at those items, and I even still wear them. I still wear them. It took me a long time. One day I was even telling myself, like, if this guy stalks my Instagram one day and sees me wearing this wristwatch over and over again in my pictures, he's going to be like, so your life has not changed. You didn't change your wristwatch. So all those things, you should, if you think you're hurting too much, try and stay away from the things that you guys used to do together. Don't stalk him. I know it's difficult. It's going to be very difficult for me to just say don't stalk him or don't stalk her. But if you can try, if you can do that, it would make sense. It will help you to, you know, withdraw from those things. And, you know, just talk to God. That's the most important thing. Yeah, just talk to God. Help me forget about this person. And when your heart heals, do not hold grudges.
I love that.
Because if the person has offended you, if the person has betrayed you, if the person has broken your trust, you know, if the person has done so many things to hurt you, it is very, 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 very possible that even while you've forgotten about this person, you still hold them in your heart, like you tie them to your chest and I'll not let you go. The more you do that, the more burden you're putting on yourself.
That's true.
Because each time, like I said, each time I see the items we exchanged when we were dating, I don't have this grudgy feeling again. I just look at them, I smile, I wear them when I want to wear them. But if you're still holding them in your heart, if you've not truly forgiven them,
the heart will,
it will continue. Then you look at those things, maybe you want to throw them away, or you look at those things and then you start cursing the person, you start experiencing the pain again. You're only hurting yourself. Or you'll be surprised the person has even moved on, and you're only left in your wallowing in self-pity. So what you can do is forgive the person. The person has broken your heart, you feel hurt, even if it's your father, if it is your mother, if it is your partner, if it is your anybody, forgive the person so that you can heal, so that it will help you yourself, it will help you moving on. Because no matter what you say, you want to throw the person's picture away, you want to
help you heal.
If you throw the person's picture away, do you throw them away from your mind? Do you throw them away from your mental picture is still in your mind?
Yes, absolutely.
So no matter if you break all the pictures, break all the representation of the person in your physical whatever, the person is still in your mind, the person is still in your subconscious.
That's true.
So you will still keep saying it, you will still keep hurting. So the God factor is one. Another two is forgiveness. You must just forgive the person. You must forgive the person.
So you'll be able to
heal and move on with your life.
Wow. Ife, thank you so much. You've done justice to this topic. There's just one area I want you to address in case there's any viewer watching and she's dealing with that or he is dealing with that. There are certain people that are in self-denial, like you mentioned in your story. They just want it, they want to find a way that it has to go on. They find a way to make peace with the person. Sometimes they go as far as, hating on themselves or beginning to start having low self-esteem, like nobody can love me more than this guy, or I can't love any other person the way I love that, things like that. And you live in self-denial, you want this relationship, to keep going, even though the person has told you that, So the person is now forced to, empathize with you, and now it's like it becomes a pity party relationship. And then you on your own, the victim that is going back, it's like you're going back to your vomit. So for any viewer watching that, I think that is even the reason why I was led to feature this topic. Please, can you just help us give an advice to any viewer experiencing that?
When you're experiencing self-denial, and like you said, if you keep going back to what is breaking you, you will keep getting broken.
Wow.
Until you yourself tells yourself that it is enough. I'll tell you this. I know this for sure because it is a process that has happened, that I had to go through everything for me to now be this person that I don't even care anymore. Whatever happens, right? I will move on, life goes on. So, for instance, I remember very well during, for people who are not Nigerians, we have this what's it called, youth service that you do after your university. You do like a 1 year program where you work, earn money, stipends, but it's able to pay your maybe food, something. So during that program, I was dating this guy already, this ex of mine. I was dating him, and he was staying close to my home. I was staying because they post you to somewhere far from home, so you can learn a new culture, learn new experience.
That's true.
So for me, they posted me somewhere about 2 hours away from home, and this guy stays close to me. So this
like a temptation.
Yeah. So I would leave my work on Thursday. I would go to his house. I was doing almost the wifely duties, like even though we were not married, I was already cooking. I would go, I would make sure everything is arranged. I would do this, I would do that. And for me, I used to say down, I'm better. Before, I was very, very hot-tempered. So the slightest thing like this pissed me off. And then I would start throwing tantrums and, all of that. So we're talking about self-denial. Now, this guy we fight, right? We'll break up. He will say we'll break up 1 week, we don't talk to each other, we'll come back again. So there's this time we broke up, one of those fights, and then I left my station. I took a public bus to his own to his house. and I went there begging, packaging this thing. No, I'm sorry, I overreacted. I'm this. Even when he's at fault.
That is the problem.
When he's at fault,
that is the problem.
I have already, I don't know how those things happen. It makes it look like, there's this twerk that now happens, and then it becomes my fault, even though it was the cause of the problem.
Because they're just trying to force your way.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, I
win him at all costs.
Yeah, like I can't do without this guy. So, this just that I need to go back. So I will go back to him. I will beg him. I would apologize. I will do this. I'll, and then it keeps coming. I would talk about it. We'll make up. We'll continue. We would fight. We would make up. We would continue. We kept on like that, going in that line until the final break. So even if you're in self-denial, you deny yourself. Oh, I can't this. Oh no, it's my word. Oh no, this that. A time is coming when it's like it will be like the last straw. You are holding on to this thread. You are in denial. You don't want to accept. You don't want to see this person is the only thing that has happened after sliced bread. You don't want to, this is the best thing. This is my life. This is my whole world. You've practically everything is around this person. It just takes, there's no advice you can give to somebody in self-denial.
You just allow the person to realize it.
That's the truth. No matter what, if the person, it's just like when somebody is determined to do something, let them just do it. If it's a good way, they will accomplish it. If they learn something, if it hurts them, they will learn from it. So if somebody is in self-denial, not accepting what has happened, it's just time. It's time.
It takes time.
It takes time. Because if you say, no, bring yourself out of that situation, bring yourself this, listen to this one audio book, listen to the word of God. No,
until he or she realizes.
Until they realize it themselves. Experience is the best teacher.
Let me tell you a story with that. When we were in university, I used to have a very close friend too. She was always having her boyfriend beat her up, and wow, she was really beautiful. He would beat her up and keep her lock her indoors. And it was really terrible. We couldn't take it out. There was a point where like, no, Amaka, this. She actually came to me. I was like, no, I need to break. I will have to break up with it. We agreed, seriously.
Break up.
This is happening now, for real. Now this is the final. We agreed, seriously, no, it can't happen beyond this. That was the last straw, and I really agreed. We all agreed with her.
That was the last straw.
And guess what? It was up to 2 days again.
They made up.
We made up. It was really his fault now.
That's how
I just opened my mouth. Seriously. So afterwards, after that experience, I told myself that, you see, in relationships, even marriage, that was the last time I actually told anybody anything,